Hello you, it's me. Today we're going to talk about Blood Rites, which is number 6 in the Dresden Files and widely considered by some to be the worst book in the series. But I think it's accepted by all fans, whether they like this one or not, that it's definitely the most divisive book. Real Marmite kind of deal, this one. Some people are like, this book was great. Some people are like, what a load of trash, I'm glad we got past it. Also, 2 Dresden Files back to back. My opinions might bleed from one into the other. Will I learn from my mistakes? Probably not. So the series follows Harry Dresden, who is a wizard / private investigator / weird stuff investigator for the Special Investigations Police Department in modern day Chicago. In this one, he's tasked by Thomas from the White Vampire Court to investigate the deaths that seem to be following a director, an acclaimed director of adult porn movies. He uncovers White Court presence in the adult movie industry, and while this kind of fits their character, while investigating this, in addition to the deaths, he's drawn into a confrontation with the Black Court head, Mavra. So there's sort of side quests that hinge around a main quest, where there are big story-revealing, story-changing points. Since this is book 6 in the series, it's going to be quite a spoiler-rich review. There's going to be stuff I liked, stuff I didn't like, stuff I wasn't sure about, and then a bit that I forgot to make at the end of the last video, which is calls I'm going to make, stuff that I think's going to happen later on in the series. Okay, so I'm going to start with the things I liked about this book, and as you know, if you've watched my videos up to this point, you'll know that one thing I love about the Harry Dresden is the old detective noir Sam Spade feel. And while a lot of people don't have a problem with this in particular, they have a problem with the fact that it stays like that for such a long time and is very formulaic. Honestly, I don't mind that. And if this is the worst book in the series, then that gets me even more excited because it's uphill from here, surely. I've spoken to somebody who said that they thought this book was the series moving away from its pulp roots and something was lost, but I really couldn't disagree more with that. I think that what it actually probably is Dresden maturing as a character. This one felt much more detective-y. It felt like if you took out 90% of the magic, it still would have made sense as a detective story, which is pretty cool. I like that a large part of this book was devoted to the White Court, so you start to see more of the internal politics of how that kind of thing works. It starts to explore the relationship between the White Court and the Red Court, with the Reds pushing the Whites to act in war against the White Council. We learn about conflict within the White Court, and I was a bit worried initially at the White Court being removed as a threat this early on in the Dresden Files, but what it actually is the White Court being introduced more as a complicator, like Marcone was in the previous books. So there's lots of things that are being added to not necessarily trip him up, but to make life a little bit more difficult for him. I like how it actually explored vampirism a little bit more, and painted vampirism as kind of an actual entity within the bodies of those affected, almost like Anne Rice's blood demons, sort of something that is possessing the body or a part of the body of the victims. I love the introduction of Thomas as a family member and the questions that raises about Harry's mother's affiliations. And I totally did not see that twist about Thomas coming. It smacked me in the face, and I absolutely loved that. I didn't expect Kincaid to show up again so soon. I'm surprised that he's not the throwaway character that I thought he would be. And I like that Butcher is now starting to build relationships between other characters that aren't Harry, such as Kincaid and McCoy having a backstory together. And also Murphy's dad having some kind of pre-existing affiliation with the Special Investigations and the paranormal. So there's sort of a web being woven rather than a spider diagram with Harry in the middle and everybody else off to one side. The book is also referring back to stuff that was mentioned several books ago, almost at the very start of the series, with the resurrection of demon He Who Walks Behind. The fact that there's a lot of the stuff in this series that in the moment I think is throwaway that turns out to be important down the line really makes me think that nothing is trivial, and it's making me read more attentively as the series goes on and wonder about things that are name dropped. I like the fact he has a dog now. That kind of completes an image for me. I think I kind of felt he needed a dog. with adding dog and family, it sort of ups the stakes for Harry. He has more to fight for, more to protect, and more to lose. Also, last one in this bit, I love that the Black Court corrupted humans are called Renfields. I think that is amazing. Things I didn't like. I have two main gripes with this book. The first being that the whole confrontation situation with Mavra totally felt like a side quest, in a way that no other subplot has before in this series. It was weird, it didn't fit, and I don't understand why it was there, except as a device to let Harry find out he can use Hellfire. It was like, bam, jump by the Black Court, they've got to hide out, get some gunpowder, clear it out, back to the main story with very little changed, aside from his hand is burnt. The second thing I wasn't really into in this book was that it seemed that there was a weird attempt to feminize Murphy, which I really didn't think was necessary. Putting her in a dress that she secretly longs to wear dresses, Harry telling her she looks good in a dress, and there's a scene where he tells her this, and she gently touches his face. Her having to take her jeans off to get an extra quarter-inch of space to wiggle under some action movie laser beams, and then Kincaid grabbing her bum from behind. Her being sexed up and manipulated essentially by the White King, or her acting like she is being. I feel like her character has lost something almost from Jim Butcher putting her in a damsel in distress type situation. I think a lot of the female characters in the Dresden Files are unnecessarily sexualized. They're like all gorgeous supermodels with no variation to them. You've got vampire seductresses, porn actresses, Murphy who is becoming sexualized and feminized, Susan who has become a vampire and it made her even more sexy. I understand that it's a running theme in the old detective stuff, but we can break away from that now. It's 2020. Once you've got his gorgeous love interest and you've had some like sexy fae clients, I feel like you can start to introduce a bit more variation. I wasn't really into the Ebenezer McCoy versus Thomas hypocrisy on Harry's part. So Harry can forgive Thomas his past as a vampire, who has probably almost definitely killed people, probably done unsavory things for his dad. Thomas does not necessarily have a good guy past. In fact, Harry doesn't really know about Thomas's past. He's just assuming that it's fine. Whereas he finds out that McCoy has done bad things while trying to instill a sense of decency and justice in Harry, because he doesn't want Harry to move down a route that he goes down when he is in the Black Staff role, because he doesn't necessarily like what he has to do. And Harry's just sort of like, you liar, I trusted you, and cuts him off. And I think there's a bit of hypocrisy there. That's one thing that really wears me down about Harry a little bit, is that he can be quite, like, holier than thou. Let's put this back. I'm also not a huge fan of the love is a mysterious old kind of magic and nobody knows how it works meme. And also I said in the last video that I like how Dresden wasn't getting stronger and that he's just getting more skillful and more intelligent. But now he's got the Hellfire buff, so I'm like, The next bit is going to be sort of questions, etc. Stuff that I hope is addressed. So if Thomas has the ability to fight against his vampiric infestation, whatever you want to call it, and Irina's was completely just removed from her by falling in love with somebody else, does that mean there's hope for Susan and Harry? Is it a case of love is the cure for the whites? Is something else going to be the cure for the reds on the same level? On that note, are they all actually vampires from a similar root origin, or is vampire here being used as an umbrella term for 4 or 5 kinds of creatures that all feed off of some variation of human life force? Let me know what you think on that, because I'm genuinely interested. Is the war just between the White Council and the Red Court, or is it between the White Council and vampires in general? Are the Black Court involved in the war because they have something to gain from it, or are they involved just to get to Harry? During the psychic uplink that he had with Thomas, what information was he given by his mum? Did Thomas get the same thing? What has that added to what he knows? I freaking knew that Harry touching that coin was going to do something. I feel like Laciel or Lachiel will have imprinted on him given him the ability to use Hellfire. Is Hellfire something that's outlawed by the Council? Is it something that's okay to use? Does it boost the power of all spells or just Harry's Fuego? He's got a burned up left hand now with a sigil right in the middle. Is he going to have some saucy, juicy left hand powers? I'm unclear how He Who Walks Behind is back. I thought when he killed it the first time, it sort of explained that he just banished it. So now, does it exist in a physical presence on Harry's plane, or is it just back in the Never Never and now it is summonable? And does it mean that he's going to be after Dresden again because he has the demon equivalent of the black spot on his hand? Last point on this bit is that I think Harry is making a huge mistake by not telling Murphy about her dad's involvement with SI that she doesn't know about. I feel like there's already been trust issues between Harry and Murphy that have led to them falling out, and I feel like he can take steps to avoid that now. But he's not. It's going to lead to a big fallout, and she's going to take the secret keeping really personally. That's my first prediction, which brings us to the predictions and calls section. The dog is called Mouse, so obviously it's going to be huge. Number 2, Mavra isn't dead. She was clearly speaking through a puppet. Number 3, the Council is going to send McCoy after Harry in Blackstaff capacity. Number 4, the fallen angel in the coin that Harry touched is in Harry, and it's just either dormant or being sneaky. Number 5, there's going to be some stupid love magic cure for Susan. So that's it. As of now, I haven't started the next one yet, which is Deadbeat, which apparently is really, really good, so I'm excited for that. Follow me on Twitter. I'll post what I think of the things I'm reading as I'm reading them. It shouldn't be too long before that review's up after this one is, because I read pretty quick. More reviews coming all the time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.